Welcome and thank you for standing by. Participants are in a listen-only mode until the question and answer session of today's conference. At that time, you may press star then 1 on your touch-tone phone to ask a question. Today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect. Now I'd like to turn the conference over to Mr. Tim D'Alessio. Thank you, sir. You may begin.
Thank you and welcome, everyone. This is our second Money Smart for Small Business Town Hall for 2018. I'm pleased to be here. I am working as the Acting Associate Director for Community Affairs at the FDIC. However, I am normally the manager of the Boston office. And just to let you know, we have managers for Community Affairs that you can contact off of our website in Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Memphis, Kansas City, New York, Boston, and San Francisco. I want to take a moment and thank Paola for putting this together and sharing this work of Money Smart Small Business and creating this kind of virtual community we have now with all of you participating. I think we have a great program where we can share some great programs that are out there, and we're going to have First Florida Integrity Bank with the speaker, Frank Rodriguez, who shows an enormous amount of experience in small business and development. And we also have, near and dear to my heart, representatives for Harbor One Bank in Massachusetts, and Maureen Wilkerson and Sheila Farragher. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And they will be talking about their program and their training centers as well, which have done an enormous amount in small business lending. I have a lot of history with Harbor One Bank, so I'm very pleased to see them participating. My understanding is we have 308 registered participants today, and we appreciate the interest level and the activity to help small business development that you do out in the field. And we hope we can begin to continue to share everyone's knowledge with each other and answer questions and help improve the program overall. I think our Money Smart Small Business has really evolved over time. We have changed it and updated, and a lot of it comes from the feedback we receive from you, and we appreciate that. So the Money Smart for Small Business program is a product that was co-branded with the U.S. Small Business Administration. SBA always joins us in welcoming Town Hall participants, and today we have Nathaniel Bishop, Program Manager at the SBA's Office of Entrepreneur Education in Washington, D.C., to provide brief welcoming comment and remind us of how banks work with the SBA. Following Nathaniel's remarks, our Money Smart for Small Business National Point of Contact will provide a few reminders and announcements, and each bank presenter will introduce themselves. Nathaniel, please tell us about the SBA banking relationships.
Perfect. Thank you for that introduction. And it's always great to partner here with the FDIC and also our banking community. We love getting out there with our resource partners and sharing information. But today I just want to talk about how it's important to collaborate with our partners and why it's so key and why it's so vital. 3 things. Why is collaboration so important? So collaboration is so important because we all have a common purpose of promoting America's entrepreneurial potential, not only with the SBA resource partners, but also through the banking community. The second thing is the creation of jobs and economic opportunity through the formation and maintenance of expansion of small businesses within the United States. And lastly, with that last piece is why is it so important to collaborate?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Nathaniel. If you can try to improve your audio because we can't hear very well. Thank you.
Is this good right here? Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, then. And the last piece I wanted to talk about in terms of the collaboration is key, or why it's so important to collaborate, is that it strengthens and improves the ability of the nation's small and minority firms to grow and compete in the global economy. So that's always vital when you're talking about small businesses and also with the banking community. Second, how can the banking community continue to help? There's various ways where the banking community can help not only our small businesses or our entrepreneurs, but one of the things that the banking community, or at least three things the banking community can do, is they can reach out and connect with other organizations also to deploy the curriculum is one method. Another one is to deliver the curriculum through the community and financial education initiatives that many banks have as well. But also one of the key things that we like is partnering with our SBA resource partners, not only with the small business development centers helping out with some of the curriculum, our women's business centers, and near and dear to my heart, the SCORE as well as helping out deliver the curriculum. So what are the benefits? Well, the benefits is that once an entrepreneur, go through the Money Smart for Small Business curriculum, but also information working with the lenders, it helps a well-informed entrepreneur when that entrepreneur has to sit across from that lender. Also, entrepreneurs can demonstrate profitability and show strong balance sheets when they go through the Money Smart for Small Business. And lastly, entrepreneurs will deliver a great product or service, within their community. And lastly, here to finish up, just want to touch on some key takeaways here. So the key takeaways is that always continue to advocate for financial education, not only throughout, like I said, our resource partners, but also with our bank community. Develop strong strategic partnerships or alliances. And lastly, this will help entrepreneurs understand financial planning concepts. So that's why it's so important to collaborate with our resource partners, but also collaborate with other organizations in the community as well.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel. We couldn't overcome the audio problems, but thank you for your information. I am Paola Diaz, the National Point of Contact for Money Smart for Small Business. We will be using the acronym MSSB going forward to refer to Money Smart for Small Business. My job is to support our community affairs specialists nationwide to assist organizations that are using or considering Money Smart for Small Business and to further develop our product in collaboration with the SBA and the feedback we receive from users, as Timothy said. Again, welcome. Before we invite our two guest organizations to join us, I will go over 3 items: a disclaimer, a tutorial, and reminders. So reference to any specific organization does not constitute an endorsement, a recommendation, or a favoring by the FDIC or the United States government. How to participate in this webinar. In your screen or slide 6, you have a model of your webinar platform. On the left-hand side, you should view the slides, and on the right-hand side, you should view various functions. Participants can communicate by using the chat feature, marked with the number 1, and ask questions to the panelists as they come to mind or during the designated times with the Q&A feature, number 2. When using the chat or Q&A functions, please type your question in the window that pops up once you click on the icons marked with number 3, and make sure you hit send, number 4. If you lose the slides, look for a green and blue circle icon, number 5, in your taskbar, or reopen the webinar link. We will conduct a poll for instant feedback at the end of today's event. The polling questions will pop up on the right-hand side of your screen, number 6. You can send us text messages via the chat or the Q&A function while I finish my remarks. Make sure that you know how they work. But if you're having technical difficulties to join the webinar platform, please contact Joan Gustafson. Her email is on the slide number 2, which was emailed to all of the registrants, or is also available for download in the event website which you went to register. Also check your email and go to the tab Event Presentation to download. Few reminders. Town hall webinars are recorded. I always get this question, and so I need to repeat it every time. You just have to go to the MoneySmart website, MoneySmart for Small Business section, and you will find a hyperlink to past town halls and future town halls. Please use the MoneySmart for Small Business during the trainer curriculum to host trainings for instructors at any time. You can also request help from FDIC as long as you are a MoneySmart Alliance member. And a very important new announcement is that anyone is just 2 clicks away from downloading the MoneySmart for Small Business modules and flyers in English and Spanish for free at the FDIC catalog. You can see the website in your slide number 7. Having an account is no longer required. We've made it easier for everyone to download, and we will be updating our MoneySmart for Small Business credit and banking module soon. It will be made available via the catalog. Information about past town halls and a link to sign up to the MoneySmart Alliance and other MoneySmart events is at the www.fdic.gov/MoneySmart. Pretty memorable. I hope you don't have to write it down. Please be reminded that all participant lines are muted, and I want to remind you our guest speakers will introduce themselves. And first, we are going to have presenters from First Florida Integrity Bank. I'm going to pass the mic over to Frank Rodriguez and Barbara Melvin. Frank, thanks again for working on this presentation. We are eager to hear and learn from your experience. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Paola, and thank you to all of you for your assistance. And I only hope that everyone out there is enjoying the nice weather that we are here in Southwest Florida. And I have been in banking for 15 years, mainly business and community development. However, I did some mortgage lending and small business lending at the time that when SBA was offering the low doc program. Great experience. And for 45 years, I have been a small business consultant and private practice and assisting people get started in business and setting up their business, growing. And 12 years, for the last 12 years, teaching MoneySmart for small businesses in partnership with government agencies and nonprofit organizations. I'm talking about the SBDC, with SCORE, with economic development organizations and such, and also local nonprofit organizations. I have been able to create big micro-business initiatives in a way that I was able to lead the creation of the Collier County Microenterprise Corp back in 1999, and that drew the support of about 20 to 23 banks that contributed and collaborated for the program. As a result of that, I was recognized by the U.S. Small Business Administration as the Financial Service and Small Business Advocate for that year in Florida. And my partner, Barbara Melvin, please will you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Barbara Melvin. I've been in banking over 25 years and worked in the small business development area for the bank and also the community relations area. So we do a lot of MoneySmart training, teaching out in the community. Like I said, partner with Frank and different nonprofits that's here, and just been enjoying what we're able to do with teaching, because we know that everybody from small business owners to our kids, they all need MoneySmart. So we're just so excited to be out in the community to teach this program.
Awesome, and that's how we work in a partnership between Barbara and myself, going out and doing the outreach. First Florida Integrity Bank, established in 2009 as a local community bank, and it is under the philosophy of the Golden Rule. And under that philosophy, superior customer service is the primary focus of our services, and all of our culture is based on that. It's committed to financial performance, community and state involvement, shareholder return, and employee satisfaction. We outreach to low and moderate income people and smaller businesses, which are approximately 25% or more of the area population. Provide business and personal and business banking services with offering type of accounts and services that are accessible to low and moderate income individuals. And we are an SBA lender but not active in that capacity. Doing the outreach throughout the community, we do what we find most effective is developing partnership relationships with organizations that service our target market. And we are looking to serve low and moderate income individuals and people and areas to help in the economic redevelopment of the area and the individuals. One of the key partnerships we have is with Goodwill Industries, the Microenterprise Institute, and specifically with the Spanish Microenterprise program. This program runs for 6 weeks, once a year. And at the beginning, we started by actually proposing this to Goodwill as a new thing for them. And myself and another 4 banks joined in were the first sponsors of the program. As of now, we have 11 banks that join in. We have 7 foundations, 2 municipalities, and a major retail chain store that are sponsoring and supporting the program. Funds raised from resources are used to teach money smart. Other partners are a law firm, SCORE, accountant, local government, insurance agent, and the accelerator. The accelerator is a business incubator that started just about a year ago, and so far has expanded from the area of Naples into Immokalee, where we are developing also another economic development activity in partnership with other organizations that we will cover later. From the Spanish Microenterprise program, the outcome has been, and this started in 2014, 36 people graduated from it, 23 started or expanded their business. 2 of them were able to get 2 microloans for expansion, and 2 of them received microgrants financed by sponsorships. To qualify for this, Goodwill established the microloan program, and we endorse and also partner with them in it, and we are one of the banks that offer microloans under the Goodwill program. The program is offered in Spanish 2 days a week, 3 hours each day for 6 weeks to low and moderate income participants. The requirements are just to have a business idea, to be 18 years or more of age, attend at least 10 classes out of 12, and of course register. There is a cost associated with the program, which is $80. However, 65% of participants have qualified for a full scholarship. Goodwill handles the eligibility and qualification for the scholarship, and they also take care of the eligibility for the program. Are income qualified so that participants, we all know that will be in the category of very low, or low moderate income. We hold these classes at partner facilities, which at this point we are using or have been granted the use of the United Way facilities in Collier County. The effort involves multiple partners and sponsors. As of now, we will see in the next few slides how many sponsors we are actually having in one of the invitations. The program, at every class will have an evaluation that comes from the participants. And then at the end, we do have a survey that will give us an idea of what will be the next focus for workshops or for counseling or for support that they may need. I'm sorry, I did not run the slides. Let me do that now. Anyway, what we are looking at is the two graduating class from the Spanish Microenterprise program, the 2016 and 17 class. The one at the top, the 2017 class, I like to mention that from right to left, you see the lady in blue. Sandra is the Director of Education for the Goodwill Enterprise in Southwest Florida. And next to her is the facilitator of the classes, of the Microenterprise classes. Then the graduates, and at the far left is myself next to a coach. And in these programs, I also volunteer as a coach, and I serve as a teacher at the same time, teaching the MSSB the Small Business Financial Education. Out of this group of the 2017 class, two of them are the ones that received the grants from the program. The group, the 2016 class that you see down below, has an interesting story. There are 11 graduates, and two of them, if you look at the far left, there is a gentleman and a young lady smiling. The gentleman is the father of the young lady, and the father was the one who registered to get his automotive repair business expanded because he was operating from home. So it was a home-based repair business. And he asked his daughter to accompany him so that she can help him go through the program. Well, surprising enough is that the daughter, through the program, the daughter discovered that she could actually start a daycare business by herself. And that was kind of a surprise to everyone, because she came only to assist her father, and finally she was able to identify through the feasibility plan that she could also set up a daycare business. You're looking at Spanish Microenterprise graduate that receive grants. The one on the top is a lady who offers the service of decorations for Paris, and she decorates your location, be home, be a salon, be any other location. She do the decoration, and she transforms the whole thing along with according with your theme that the customer chooses. The lady below has the business of specialty cakes that she prepares. So both of them receive a $1,000 grant from microgrants through the Goodwill program. What you see on your right is a sample of a flyer invitation that we use for the Spanish Microenterprise classes. This one happens to be the one that it covers the current class that is running, and that will be finished next week on Monday. Below on the left of that flyer, you see the list of sponsors. At the beginning, there were only 5 of us. Today, you see a long list of sponsors that have been joined and have been supporting the program. This flyer circulates throughout the county and Southwest Florida as well. How we go about actually promoting and using MSSB is basically we join the Microenterprise program with Goodwill. We also do standalone workshops with other organizations which we support from the program, designed through the implementation. We provide the technical assistance to get everything set up and organized, and then we also participate and sponsor in the workshops. It is all used in combination with resources offered by partners, which in the case of the partnership that we developed with NAACP, is that NAACP do have an economic development program, and Barbara can attest to that. Barbara is the vice president of NAACP. And what we have done is that we join the economic development program by adding and expanded by adding workshops for small businesses in the way of an informative forum. forums are held in a way that there is no instructor. It's not a lecture. It is a kind of a presentation that lasts from 8 in the morning through 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We provide a light breakfast and lunch as an incentive for people to come on and participate. And what we have is a facilitator that introduces and manages the agenda and also introduces subject matter experts to talk about different topics. The purpose of the forums is to bring out information about resources and access to services available to small business or new entrepreneurs to get support in different ways. It could be counseling, it could be financing, or it could be any other legal assistance or any other service that they may need. Each MSSB is customized with a facilitator and the subject matter experts, but it's customized to the needs and that of the participants that we learn from the survey that we take during the open workshops, open forums. We also enrich the MSSB content during classes and for groups with other more smart curriculum and resources that come at hand to make it more close to home to those who are new to business or who for the first time ever they will be running a business and they definitely want to have the benefit of having a better understanding of what it takes. Dealing with other partnerships with NAACP and the Immokalee Chamber of Commerce. And Immokalee, those of you who may not be familiar with it, is a community traditionally composed of farm workers. It's an agricultural area. Its income levels are low and low moderate. And it's a large majority of individuals in the area. The Chamber of Commerce in Immokalee has embarked in an economic development program to diversify the economy in Immokalee. As a result of that, that's why we have an accelerator in Immokalee now that is part of the whole program. With NAACP, the partnership with them is where they do identify and recruit participants to the forums. They provide collateral material, secure the event location, and also provide the event facilitator. And that's great help. We provide sponsorship, we provide financial support, and we provide volunteers who teach and to also work one-on-one with participants. With the Immokalee Chamber of Commerce, they advertise the event through local media and chamber activities. They implement door-to-door business outreach to promote the event, and they recruit local and small business owners to attend. From the Collier County government, they provide simultaneous Spanish to English translation for trainings with the NAACP and the Immokalee Chamber of Commerce. And that is an extraordinary effort that is been put in Immokalee, because definitely there is a need and there is an opportunity in Immokalee to promote and to develop the economy and diversify the economy now.
Frank, I just wanted to add also to all of you on the phone that are, looking at different type of partnerships. As Frank said, not only do I work here at the bank, but I'm also the first vice president with NAACP, and we know that there was a need for economic development, especially with people who want to get into business, to go into business. So what we have developed with the chambers, with SBA, we've had, like Frank was talking about the forum, many different partners came together to make it such a success to where we had different partners in the community that came out, and it was just a wonderful thing. So if you guys want more information of doing that, it really helps. So working with the individual agencies such as your chambers, your other nonprofits, NAACP, other nonprofits out there, banks that come together for CRA, that really gave us even more CRA credit So, you know, partnering with these type of businesses really work, even to get the word out and to let people know if they're thinking about being an entrepreneur, these are some events that we've done to partner with the community.
It's wonderful when you're able to develop this type of relationship with community organizations that serve the market, the target audience and market that you are looking for. The next one, we want to go into what happens after the workshops. And basically, certificates are issued, and that is something that give some touch of accomplishment, some message of accomplishment to participants that they do receive something that is more than just a thank you and a handshake. They receive a certificate, and that certificate tells that they already satisfactorily completed whatever modules of the Money Smart or financial management program we offer. So they can show that at a bank, they come to any bank with a certificate, and at least they can show to the bank officer or loan officer that they have taken the time to get educated in financial matters for personal or business. The MSSB workshops for next sessions are identified on survey results, and that's how we are able to target most interest. Then one thing that happened as a result of the workshops is the feasibility or business plan that is done during the actual class or session. There is one-on-one counseling by SCORE and also by bank officers like myself or Barbara. We meet with participants and we try to help them develop their program and their concepts. We hold quarterly group meetings with graduates from the Microenterprise class. The idea is to open up, to learn from them any difficulties, any positive, any good news, any new things that they develop through after graduation. We provide assistance. That one. And as a final advice, it's important to identify and develop partnerships with organizations serving your target market. Incentivize partner organizations with financial support for their programs. Use the MSSB as your content and join Money Smart Alliance if you are not. As a member, you receive all kinds of support, important, from FDIC and SBA to reach the target audience. And with that, we are open for questions.
Thank you very much, Frank, for that presentation. And at this time, I want to open it up for questions from the audience. I believe we have a couple on the queue, so I'm going to ask my colleague, John Gustafson, to read them.
Frank, can you please tell us how did you form the coalition with the 11 banks in your area?
The way it works is that I do have contact information for most CRA officers throughout the area. We are talking about around 40 or more. Some of the CRA officers are not local, but I still have their information. When the opportunity with Goodwill came up to develop and start the Spanish Microenterprise program, I emailed all of them. I explained what the purpose of the message and what was that we were trying to do. And out of them, we were able to get, the first time, we were able to get 4 banks that joined in, and there were 5 of us then at that point. This is back in 2014, and as of today, the result is that not only myself, but also the director of the education program with Goodwill also contact all the banks, and now we are getting the support from 11 banks so far.
Thank you very much, Frank. That was a great answer. Now we invite Mo Wilkinson and Sheila Faragher from Harbor One Bank. Sheila, I will give you the control in a minute.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Maureen Wilkinson, and I am the Vice President of Education and the CRA Officer at Harbor One Bank. My experience in banking spans over 30 years. I've previously been the CEO of 3 credit unions, and after a strategic merger with Harbor One in 2009, since then I've enjoyed being more of an individual contributor focused on community engagement and reinvestment efforts.
And my name is Sheila Farragher, and I'm the Assistant Manager at Harbor One U. I've been in banking for 11 years, and 7.5 years I've been with Harbor One U and the community education efforts that we've had.
So to tell you a little bit about Harbor One Bank's background, we were actually established as Brockton Credit Union in Massachusetts in 1917, so we recently celebrated our 100th anniversary. We're over $2.5 billion in assets. We converted to a community bank in 2013. And, you know, although our name and our charter has changed over these past 100 years, the 3 pillars by which we operate have stayed consistent. We focus on providing exceptional customer service, we are community-driven, and we operate with our integrity without a compromise. As other large community banks, we offer all of the products and services you can think of, from personal to small business, commercial, and municipal. We have been committed to the growth and success of our communities, and that's why we launched what we call Harbor One U, which the U does stand for university, although we don't spell it out. But we've been providing a range of educational services to help individuals and businesses aspire and achieve quite a bit. We have been providing small business training since 2010 in a formal environment at 2 of our locations in Mansfield and Brockton. On the next slide, you're going to see a snapshot of southeastern Massachusetts. This colored portion of the map depicts our CRA Assessment Area. It consists of 49 cities and towns, which has 213 census tracts. The census tracts are highlighted, and those that are yellow and gold represent the low and moderate income geographies, while the green and the blue illustrate the upper and middle income census tracts. The education program my colleague Sheila will detail serves this entire assessment area and beyond. At Harbor One U, over the past 10 years, we've actually served folks from 300 different zip codes at our classroom locations. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sheila to further describe our education program.
Okay, thank you, Mo. So as Mo mentioned, Harbor One recognizes that knowledge is a key factor in driving success, which is why they established Harbor One U, which is known as one of the country's first centers devoted to financial education, life and career management services, and small business assistance. So as she mentioned as well, we've been teaching small business classes at Harbor One U since January of 2010. In February of 2015, Harbor One was approached by the FDIC in developing 3 of their newest MSSB modules, which were is owning a small business a good fit for you, planning for a healthy business, and managing cash flow. They were looking to attract low and moderate income and minority business owners to attend these classes, and at our location in Brockton, we were able to help them fulfill that by, you know, marketing towards the business owners in that market, because there are a number of low to moderate income census tracts in that area. And so then we used the MSSB modules to create our own program, which we call Success for Small Business. Okay, so this is a copy of our brochure. And then just kind of gives a background of, you know, Harbor One and Harbor One U, why we developed the program, you know, in an effort to support economic growth in the communities that we serve. And we have the core classes. Okay, yep. So originally we developed the program was to support economic growth in the communities and to provide assistance to the small business owners and also to increase small business lending. We've redesigned the program a few times to meet the needs of the business owners, and currently we offer 2 modules or 2 formats. One is an accelerated program, which we offer in 2 evenings from 5:30 to 8:30, where we cover the 5 modules, or we also offer it in a boot camp, which is a one-day where we could kind of cover the material as well. So when we started offering the boot camps, they were very popular. But then we recognized that, you know, there were many people that couldn't take that day off from work. So we decided to break it down and have break it down in 2 evenings rather than having them done individually, which was how we started out offering it. But we found that these 2 methods really work best for us. So once they've completed either the boot camp or the two evening program, the graduates are eligible for a $5,000 business line of credit that can increase after a year of being in good standing. That line of credit could increase to $10,000. And they do have to, there is a credit approval involved in that. We do have online registration, but walk-ins are welcome. Okay, so the goal, you know, initially the goal was to increase the small business loans for CRA consideration. We shared the MSSB modules with our risk department, and they decided which modules would be a requirement for those to apply for the business line of credit. We initially started out with 6 core sessions, which were a requirement for the line of credit. And, you know, we say we're flexible. We wanted to be flexible and innovative, and so on the brochure we have the loans are subject to credit approval. Flexible and innovative credit underwriting parameters are considered. So in order to, the applicant has to have at least a 600 credit score, so which we believe to be fairly, you know, it's a pretty low credit score. So, you know, we're certainly working with, you know, individuals, you know, that need some help. And so initially we started out, as I said, we had the 6 individual classes. It took a long time for people to actually complete the whole program. They might take like 3 or 4, and to get them to complete the program took some time. So we had decided, you know, we opted to, yeah, so we opted to do the boot camp. So the bank employees and outside industry experts taught the class. We provide the presentation, the slides, and the workbooks. And as we mentioned before, pre-registration is requested, but walk-ins are allowed. And so all of this is done in a classroom setting. We don't have online at this time. Okay, so what kind of makes our program a little bit unique is that we hired a paid instructor. So we found that with the employees and industry experts that it was a lot of times there wasn't consistency in what was being delivered, and so we hired someone that we knew. She had a background at the Mass Small Business Development Center and was also a trainer. She taught a lot of our social media classes, had a great rapport with our attendees. So we asked her if she looked at all the modules, and then she kind of developed her own materials. We provide a workbook, and then as well as a flash drive that have all the original MSSB modules on it. She also created some spreadsheets that we also add to that flash drive, so that, you know, when they're creating the business plan or they're going over their financials, that they can actually plug it right into the spreadsheet in the Excel format. Okay, so some of our key metrics. So we started this in 2015, so for, you know, through 18 we've had 50 individual sessions. We've had 6 boot camps and 4 accelerated 2 evening sessions. We've had 418 participants that had taken at least 1 class, and we've had 200 graduates. Of that, we've had 20 approvals for the business line of credit, and of those 20, 5 have actually increased to the 10,000. We've gained 4 brand new HarborOne customers from those that have attended, and 15 new business checking accounts, and then in addition to the lines of credit, we've also done 4 additional small business loans. So just as the other group, we do have a certificate upon completion of the program. We have a VP of Business Development that follows up with all of the graduates. We just recently added a wrap-up session, which we actually just had it Monday night, that we've invited past graduates to come and for a session with Tricia White, who's our instructor, and she just kind of goes over all the different things that they need to do in order to apply for the business line of credit. Typically, the people fall into one of 3 categories. They're either interested but not ready to apply for that line of credit. They may have some credit issues, which our business development officer will kind of coach them through trying to help them increase their credit score. Those that are interested and that are ready to apply. And then there's just a lot of people that come to the class just for the knowledge. They're just looking to learn, not necessarily looking for that business line of credit. So here's a picture of you know, a number of our graduates at a couple of our different locations. And as you can see, so the final advice is to, I was just going to say that Tricia White is kind of the woman. She's our instructor, and she's the common denominator in all those pictures, kind of the short blonde hair. So our final advice would just be to, you know, adjust constantly, you know, do what works for you. You know, feel free to make changes to the program. You know, we are constantly adjusting and doing kind of what works for us. As we mentioned, there is a credit approval required. We try to, and as I mentioned, we had the wrap-up class, just as a way to try to increase the loan applications. And when we first started this, we, you know, after every kind of graduation, there would always be a number of people that would apply for the line of credit. And then recently, and we don't necessarily know why, but a lot of people haven't been applying. So, you know, we just kind of wanted to boost that again. And then just to say that the MSSB curriculum is a great tool to utilize to your benefit. And so Anybody have any questions?
Certainly, we do have questions lined up, and thank you again for such a great presentation. I do want to quote some comments that we're getting in the Q&A. Participants feel that both of the banks are doing an outstanding work in terms of outreach, so I just wanted to share that with our presenters already. And we have one question. We're not going to have time to address all of the questions we're getting, but we're going to try to get through as many. We have one. Please read it.
Can you tell us what you do if an applicant has a credit score of less than 600?
Our Vice President of Business Development works with each of the graduates that want to apply for the loan, and if they do have a credit score under 600, he works with them to recognize what's probably driving that, if it's an unpaid bill, if it's serious delinquency, and puts together a plan with them that they can work over a number of months to rectify that. And then we keep sometimes people, we're working with them for 9 months to a year. Other people, it may just take a few months and they're able to get above the 600.
Thank you. We have another question. Is the line of credit secured? Any defaults so far, and how have you recruited for the seminars?
So the line of credit is not secured. So it is an unsecured line of credit. We have not had any defaults thus far. And how we recruit is we use social media, we use electronic methods. We don't do any paid advertising. Some of it's word of mouth, but we do have relationships with the Mass Small Business Development Center and other similar community outreach programs and chambers of commerce that retake our information and send it out to interested businesses.
Lots of questions. Here's one more.
We have another one. What are the credit terms for the 5K loan?
Or the line of credit, I believe.
Okay. The credit terms, I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for in the response, but it's a typical for our bank, a line of credit to have it, it has to have at least a minimum 600 credit score. They're able to draw on the line throughout the year. If they want it to increase to the 10,000 after 1 year, they have to pay off the 5,000 line for at least 30 days and then apply to see if they are able to sustain a $10,000 line.
Thank you. And I received another question. So they're asking, how can a bank get started if interested in establishing an MSSB program? So I want to take one part of that question, and I want to turn it back to the two presenters. Because the first thing a bank needs to do to get started is simply download the materials, which we shared the website earlier, where you can download all, not just Morning Smart for Small Business, but all modules to assess what are the modules that are going to work for your community. And another suggested approach is that you also consider working with your local SBA district office and the SBA technical assistance partners that usually include the small business development centers and women's business centers that Nathaniel mentioned earlier. And also contact your community affairs staff locally. As Tim started in the program, he explained that the information, the contact information for all of the community affairs officers is available in our website. So you go to www.fdic.gov/community affairs, and you will find a hyperlink to the community affairs specialists everywhere you are, and they can help organizations join the Money Smart Alliance in order to receive technical assistance. So, and then I want to turn it back in the last 2 minutes we have left. So I'm going to ask each bank to use 1 minute to just say, how did you get started? Thank you. First Florida Bank.
Everything started because I found out through the internet in the FDIC page, the Money Smart link, and I went into it. And I found out all the information, all the different programs and curriculums. And I realized that because it comes in different languages, we can reach out different areas in the community and different audiences. So definitely, and then of course we have a need in the community that we are addressing, and this, the MSSB presents an excellent tool to reach out and serve the need.
Thank you. Harbor One?
At Harbor One, we were using the Money Smart for Individuals program. I'm not sure what the proper term is, but and we actually for the last 10 years have had, when people went through the Money Smart program, 5 different modules, we would give them a $500 line of credit. This is personal, and then it would become $1,000 after a year of handling it well. And this was often used for people that were new to credit or needed to repair their credit. So when we became a bank and subject to CRA relative to small business lending, we were looking for ways in which we could, meet our CRA obligations, since we were new to a lot of that coming from being a credit union to a bank. And so we looked at the program we already had in place and recognized there was an opportunity to do something similar, but using the Money Smart for Small Business curriculum, and the numbers needed to have more zeros for it to be impactful for a small business. So that's why we did 5,000 to 10,000.
Thank you so much for those answers. And I had opened a poll a few seconds ago. I hope that you can provide your instant feedback while we close out. I want to thank once again to Frank Rodriguez and Barbara Melvin from First Florida Integrity Bank, and Mo Wilkinson and Sheila Faragher from Harbor One Bank. They were all very generous to share their contact information with you. So if you're interested in learning more about their programs, I understand you could be reaching to them, or you can be reaching to me. And in the last slide for today, you have my contact information. And we are looking forward to hearing more success stories from other organizations using Money Smart for Small Business, and to your participation in our upcoming town hall in Q3. Please take a look at our website. We will be modernizing our Money Smart for Small Business website in the next few months. And there's one page with conferences and events where you can easily identify other Money Smart events. Thank you so much, and operator, you can end this call.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for your participation. As you know, the conference is concluded. You may disconnect at this time.